Hey, morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Welcome to Sinch webinar on AI. I think we need to give a couple of more minutes for people to join. The number of attendees is really rapidly increasing. So just a few minutes, bear with us, and we start very, very soon. Still a lot of people calling in. Let's wait maybe another minute. Okay, so it's 2 past, soon 3 past, so maybe we are ready to go. A couple of housekeeping. So we are recording this session, so hopefully that's okay for everyone. We are more than happy to receive questions on the chat. After the actual official agenda, we will try to respond to as many as we can. And as before, we will take notes on the rest, and we will come back to you after this webinar. So hello everyone, and welcome. Have you ever wondered if you could predict what your customers need before they even ask? What if you could supercharge your team, give them the tools to solve problems faster and create truly memorable interactions? That's not science fiction anymore. That's the power of AI, and that's why we are all here today. A huge welcome to our webinar. My name is Mika Tuominen, and I'm heading the Contact Pro Global Sales at Sinch. We are living in an incredible time where the line between technology and human connection is blurring, and AI is the bridge. When talking to customers, it has become clear to me that AI is strongly on the agenda, but the customers are still somewhat puzzling around the real opportunities on AI. Get ready to be inspired. The future of customer engagement is here, and you are about to learn how to harness it. To start with, I want to share with you a fascinating number. Johnny, good morning. Are you awake out there on the West Coast? Did you know that 97% of businesses say they are already using or plan to use AI in customer communications?
That's a huge number, and it just shows how critical AI is becoming in the world of contact centers. Mika, I also heard that 40 to 60% of businesses plan to add AI voice bots or AI-powered chatbots very soon. And everyone, over the next 45 minutes, our speakers will break down what that means for you all and demonstrate how Sinch and Contact Pro's AI capabilities can help you not just keep up, but get ahead of the curve. Our first speaker is Mirko Benetti, who leads our business unit. Over to you, Mirko.
Okay, so thank you very much, Mika and Johnny, and hello everybody. So my name is Mirko Benetti. I'm based in Italy, and as Johnny said, I'm leading the Contact Pro organization. Now let's start with this webinar with having an overview of Sinch and the opportunity ahead of us. So first of all, Sinch is an international public company, which is considered by analysts as one of the leaders in the CCaaS market because it is at the forefront of redefining intelligent customer communications. Our mission is to connect every business with every customer everywhere in the world. and we deliver on it through our unified communication customer cloud, which blends CPaaS and CCaaS capabilities. It is supercharged by AI and basically allows us to deliver personalized and rich experiences at every touch point at scale. Next one, please. So what do we do for our customers? Basically, the businesses that are coming to us, they basically always ask us to solve one of these four problems. They want their consumers to be engaged, so they are looking at a way to do marketing campaigns which are personalized and relevant for the people receiving those, and that is to drive more sales, so to generate more sales. And then they want their customer to be informed, so they want to be able to deliver information and value in a timely manner, and that improves operational efficiencies and keep customers up to date with what they need to know. Then another very important aspect, they typically want their customers to simply be safe. So they need to protect their credentials, protect their identities, and make sure that the risk in the interaction is kept at the minimum. And then one of the most interesting ones, what we call the happy use case, which is about customer service. So we want our customers to be satisfied in the interaction with us, be happy interacting with the businesses that work with us in order to build loyalty. And actually, you can find many researches out there that basically show that when consumers work with a brand, they are more impacted by the experience that the brand can deliver, so the way they can interact with the brand, than other characteristics of the brand itself. In other words, you can even do an amazing job in the first phases of the customer acquisition cycle, but if you don't manage to keep the customer motivated to work with you and stay with you once you want it, then you would basically waste what happened before that. And let's also have a look. Next slide, please. Okay, this is the key point here. So we have basically a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity in front of us, because there are two different phenomena out there in the market. On one side, there is the rise of conversational and generative AI. On the other side, there is now a widespread adoption of conversational and rich channels, such as WhatsApp and RCS. And there's also a renaissance of voice. So these different phenomena basically are impacting and interacting with each other, where the conversational AI is basically enabling conversations to happen at the right moment, with the right kind of content, and also at the right time and on the right channel, everything orchestrated by AI. So the opportunity that we have is not just to, let's say, improve the customer experience, but it's a real opportunity to transform it radically. So it's a new paradigm that we have in front of us that can help businesses that work with Sinch to generate much more value than before. And let's have a look. Next slide, please. These capabilities that are now available, they don't basically change the kind of problems that the customer have, but they drastically change the way we can deal with them. So how we can meet these communication needs. So let's look at again at the marketing campaigns. So now it is not about sending just out messages in, let's say, a spray and pray mode. Now we can send out personalized messages. Campaign can be automated, can be managed, it can be delivered on the right channel depending on customer preference. So creating a much better outcome. If we move to customer updates, now the paradigm is not anymore about order shipped. So now we can, for example, say, your flight is delayed, but here are the alternative options that you have, and which one would you choose? So you can start with delivering a timely information, which is of value for the customer, and then start the conversation out of that. Or if we move to the identity and verification case, there, instead of just sending one size fits all SMS OTP, then you can basically authenticate customers on different channels based on different preferences or different needs. And also artificial intelligence can also try to understand if there are frauds ongoing and adapt to those. And finally, when we move to customer service, this is where most of the opportunities are materializing. So basically, we can have artificial intelligence and humans working side by side. There can be an initial interaction with artificial intelligence, and then seamlessly move to a human agent, which will still benefit from AI to make sure that the customer is properly managed and that we work on the request with all the tools that are available, clearly real time on the screen. And obviously, as we will see later in a minute, also language is not going to be an issue anymore. And we can benefit of having the AI also as a sort of personal assistant for the agent. But let's dig into this a little bit more. So Marco, over to you, please.
Thanks, Mirko. Greetings from Finland. So moving from Italy to Finland, weather just gets better on its way, or maybe not. But anyway, so I'm planning to talk about the AI specifically from the Contact Pro perspective, and it's broad scope. So I needed to make some selections which topic I bring to this webinar, and I'm going to talk about two things in this one. So we start with the smarter conversation summarizations. Those of you who have received from me emails about standard demo getting updated, you have seen that we have enabled this conversation summarization in standard demo, and we have actually a good number of customers who have already taken this conversation summarization into use, specifically with the phone call summarization, where we record the phone call, we transcribe the phone call, and then we summarize the phone call content using AI. And to talk about a couple of the new things in that one, so the conversation summarization is of course a great feature, so it saves a lot of time from the team leaders and supervisors to do the quality assurance, and it's also very much more handy to get on the level of customers, let's say what the customer has been doing by simply reading the latest summaries of the conversations. But one of the important things which we now have also shipped with our recent release is the ability for the human agents to edit the summary of the call which they have participated in. So basically it's kind of like the ethicalness of using the AI, and it's actually not of a small thing. So it's kind of very, very important that the human has the final say in the summary itself. But then these two cases come with the demos, so two demos, and the first demo is also about this one. So before we proceed into the demo slide, so let's go actually back one set. So I want to take a little bit away the mystery in the AI, how we use it and how we guide the AI to do certain things. So we have now enabled the kind of like the prompting editing for email summarization, email analysis, and we are on our way to do that also for the calls and the chat analysis content on the same time. And with this email example, it's very easy to concretize what that actually means. So now we go to the actual demo itself. So if you, Ryan, proceed. Thank you. So here in this demo, I'm using same email twice, but then on the fly, I will change the prompting, and the next slide is very busy, so let me explain you that one. So here on the left-hand side, we have the same email that I'm going to send twice, and then we start with the prompt A, which is kind of like the one which is the standard prompting in for example, in the standard demo, and then I will switch the prompting, in other words, the guidance how the AI should do the summary on the fly before sending second email, which is exactly the same email as what is sent on the first time. So let's see how that works in practice. And the prompt B actually has quite some power in it. So we ask it to be much more sellable and proactive and other stuff. So if we start the show, please. So here you see the two similar emails, and now what I will do is that I will send the first email to standard demo like this. And then when we go into communication panel, and I'll now pick it from the pick list. So here the agent sees the email and picks the email like you see from this action here. And now when we are viewing the customer's email, and specifically now the focus in the AI analysis, we can see that it's actually quite powerful already now. So it detects the language and it performs the draft replies and everything what we have asked the AI to do through the prompting. And now what we do is that instead of the prompting A, we copy paste the prompt B into our system configurator in this so-called event-driven integration part, where we have linked now the AI prompting and the AI analysis to the corresponding email queue. So off we go, and we press the save, and now immediately with the next email, the new prompting, the prompting B, takes effect. So now pay attention how different the AI analysis is when we receive the second email. So I've done a little bit of video editing, so things go smooth and fast in this case. They do otherwise as well, but in smoother and faster for the presentation. So here is now the second email. And now you can see that, first of all, instead of 4 categories, I have actually asked the AI to perform an additional category, which is called the categorization. So in this case, we deem it as the sales category, which we can, for example, use in the email routing. And the other one is that the draft reply here now looks very different, much more sellable, much more, let's say, proactive than on the other one. And this was simply due that we gave some new guidance for the AI to analyze the email in a let's say different, whether it's a better way or not, but a different way in the first place. So this is truly kind of like a powerful way to automate in a very smart way the transactions in the customer service. And you are happy, of course, to try that out in the standard demo. So that's why I'm also doing a little bit of advertising towards that direction. But that was the first case. So AI prompting is not rocket science. It's actually very fascinating and very powerful way to impact on how we consume the AI and what type of output we get from the AI. Now to the second case. So the second case is about what Ryan briefly mentioned already, the automatic translation, and we actually introduced this one already some time ago, but now we have made quite many improvements into that one. So and it is actually, as we speak, already provisioned for the first customers, and actually talk about the customers. So in this case, it's even a customer who is using our on-prem delivery or on-prem version of the Contact Pro, and so it works both with the public cloud customers and as well as also with the on-prem customers. So the new thing is that this is dynamic for the customer's language. And soon you will see that demo as well, but we are not stopping the development here. We are actually doing planning to do a message API in Contact Pro, which is also supporting this translation itself, but also so that we are able to trigger different types of actions, either functional actions or API actions based on the actual message content. So not only alternating or changing the message content itself, but also triggering maybe some completely outside Contact Pro related actions with that one. But this translation is magical and fascinating. So let's look at the demo. If we proceed, please. So we can go directly to the video. So here is a video. The left side is a customer, right hand side is the agent, and then let's roll. So first, if I would be the agent, I would be horrified of receiving some French text, but our system handles that perfectly by first of all providing all the system messages towards the customer with customer's language, and the agent can read the same text in English, which is much more easy, at least for me, and an agent can actually reply in English, and the replies are automatically transferred and translated to French or to the customer's language. So here we can see that the customer is making a booking for the resort and interested about golf club and getting into that one. But then comes a twist in the plot. So now all of a sudden the customer decided to start writing something in Spanish, and it's not really a problem. So as you can see from the chat transcript on the Contact Pro side, we detected that language also as Spanish, and now agent can continue answering in English, and it will be translated to Spanish. But now also the agent can translate his language. In this case, agent started to write his language in Portuguese, and that will be translated to customer's latest detected language, which is Spanish. So if you didn't get confused before, now we are actually by the end of the demo. So it's hugely powerful. So think about that one. So now you can have your agents working in your own home country and serving the whole world on the same time. And the demo continues. So now when the chat is completed, also for the chat analysis, we are able to detect, first of all, the language as multilingual, and it was actually quite nicely able to summarize the conversation of these different languages and still provide an English summary of the whole conversation. So those of you who speak French, Spanish or English, you can pretty verify that the summary is nearly perfect, I would say. This concludes my part on these two demos, and the AI story actually continues, because now you have seen some parts of the AI as such, but AI is also much more, and AI can be used in dialogue automation. We can use the AI through the dialogue automation by detecting what is the customer's intent and use that information then, for example, in AI assisted routing in Contact Pro. And this is where it's a good segue to give the stage to Ryan, who continues exactly with these topics. So over to you, Ryan.
Hey, Markku, and thanks for passing the baton. I've got it over here in Brussels. I don't have an analogy for the weather because it's not much better than Finland, but it's probably somewhat worse than over in Italy, I imagine. So, but fabulously excited to be here with all of you, and thank you for all of you taking the time to be here with us. Also, I've got a section here, but if you have any questions, just a reminder, type them in. We'll be into the questions in about 7 to 10 minutes or so as I wrap up my section. But I'm here sort of more on behalf of Sinch, and the section that I'm going to be going through next is a collection of exciting AI-powered capabilities from more field within Sinch, but these are also things that integrate really well with Contact Pro. So as Mirko mentioned earlier on, Sinch has got a whole array, as you imagine a CPaaS leader would, a whole array of communication tools. And we can plug a lot of those into Contact Pro. And I think that's really, really exciting, because that means we can have the AI that's built right within Contact Pro, as Marco just demoed to you, but we can also have the stuff that comes from broader Sinch that can layer onto Contact Pro in a really powerful way. So, and each one of these that I'm about to go into, we have customers using these. So these are not us with some pipe dreams in terms of some of the things you could configure. No, these are configured in live in some of our customers today on Contact Pro. So the first section I want to get into is a capability we call Smart Conversations. And just before I get into this specific use case, Smart Conversations is a really exciting capability that we have on top of our Conversation API. And Conversation API is our ability to send across, I think it's 13 or 14 unique channels in today's world, one API, many channels that you can plug into. A number of our Contact Pro customers use this today, so they can send on channels like SMS and RCS and WhatsApp and live chat and others. What's really exciting about Smart Conversations is that we're applying intelligent capabilities on top of the messages that are going through those pipes. And there's 6 specific smart capabilities that are within Smart Conversations. And I'm going to go through 2 of them with you today. But the first one is on shielding your agents from verbal abuse. And I think we all know that some days it can be a great day to be an agent, and you can really get a high from helping a customer out in a delightful way. Other days it can be tough. It can be difficult, especially depending on the territory that you work within. Users and customers can be hard on you. And what this capability does is it automatically masks incoming language that it would deem to be offensive or hurtful or harmful. A really exciting capability because it automatically puts the default in front of the agent. So before the message actually comes into the inbox, it's masking it before it arrives there to make sure these agents aren't verbally abused. And then the triggers can be put in place to do things like a managerial escalation and things like that to make sure agents aren't being verbally abused, and we've got strong protections in place. Another one that works on the same principle is the automatic detecting and masking of personal identifiable information. Sorry, say that a couple times fast, Ryan. But this is really important for regulatory reasons, and for the same and in the same mechanism, in the same system, we can have a situation where PII might be coming in, and we don't necessarily want the agents to be able to see that, and we want to be automatically masking it for regulatory reasons, and we do that masking before the PII even lands in the inbox. And that's really powerful as well because we're seeing more and more customers want to move to a stance of automating their regulatory alignment as a default rather than an ad hoc way. So this is really catching on in that front, because we want to make sure that PII masking is something that happens default as information comes into the inbox. The next segue I'm going to make is into another product at Sinch. And some of you may have already heard of this one. This is the place where you can build AI chatbots or AI agents. It's ChatLayer. This is really Sinch's marquee conversational AI platform. If you haven't looked in it a while, my nudge to you would to be go have a look at this capability of this product. There's been a lot of really nice developments over the last year. No news to anybody on this call. It's been an extraordinary we're almost 3 years exactly from the birthday of ChatGPT. It's been an extraordinary change in AI capabilities. ChatLayer has been layering these sorts of things in. You can now connect to all the major LLMs, for example, whether that be Google, Anthropic, or OpenAI in ChatLayer. You can set really good guardrails so you can have answers come right back from a knowledge base or more widely from a more broad LLM perspective. We've got tighter conversation orchestration actually with Contact Pro now. And then we've also got on the voice front, we've got smoother handling of things like barge-in and interruption and stuff like that recently came out from the team. So a handful of really nice updates to improve the capabilities of building these AI agents right from ChatLayer. And we've tightened the integration of ChatLayer with Contact Pro over the last while to really make sure there's a really seamless transition of not just the context message, the conversation itself, but also the context around that message. A couple quick use cases, and then we'll drop right into the question and answer that you can do with ChatLayer. The first one that is, I think, a great one for a lot of Contact Pro customers is the use case here is breezing through the basic questions. And what we mean by that is it is easier than ever, if you've got a knowledge base or repository of policies or things like that, we can get you up and running quite quickly with a number of new capabilities that we've got to anchor to a knowledge base, but also to route to an agent when necessary. These are the types of AI agents that we can get up and running really, really quickly now, and can put right in front of the Contact Pro agent experience. And the big plus here is that this if we get this right, this really drops the resolution times. So this makes sure that customers, where we've got a quick, obvious, easy answer for them, we get it to them very quickly. We get it to them in moments rather than them waiting for an agent. And it also takes those easier questions off the plate of agents, so that agents can grapple with the harder, more complex problems. The second use case that we're seeing a lot of love for, and one that really fits the Contact Pro capabilities well, is smarter routing. So receiving and routing conversations brilliantly is absolutely something that ChatLayer can do. We can take in the conversation, make sure around the clock, any customer that comes in, make sure that they're acknowledged, make sure that we ask them a few immediate questions, make sure we triage them appropriately, we capture that information, we move them on to the right person. That's absolutely a really strong use case that we see regularly used out of ChatLayer, and something to consider if you're looking for capabilities like that. And the obvious advantage of something like this is that this helps you get the conversation to the right agent the first time. And in addition to that, it makes sure anybody who reaches out to your organization, they get a response instantly. It's not like they wait around for a response. Somebody at least is always there, picking up the line, picking up the message, providing context, providing a first response, and then moving them in the right direction and setting expectations. So a couple little intelligent capabilities from around Sinch that, as I mentioned, integrate brilliantly with Contact Pro. And with that, I think we've had a handful of items come in, a couple of questions come in the question section, and then also a bit of chatter starting to happen in the chat. So I'll move it along and we'll use some of our remaining time for the Q&A.
Great questions on the chat. So I've been while Ryan was doing the AI cases and the intelligent routing part, I was already writing some answers on there. But super good questions, keep them coming. And if we have missed the question, so no problem. We'll
do you want to maybe go through some of those answers for the group, Marco? And then I'll go to the Q&A afterwards with you.
Yes. So of course, this translation itself was kind of like good traction on the interest. Everybody feels so for the agent who don't speak the customer's language, and then vice versa. And of course, the benefit is immediate on that one. So the question was that which African languages are supported. So first of all, we of course have put the service together, but we as Sinch are not any translation experts. So as we have our tenants running in AWS environment, we also have used then the corresponding translate services, and there I was checking just that which of the supported languages are specifically from African. So I added those languages here. The list of supported languages is too long to be pasted here, so we can send a link separately for those ones.
Maybe I'll ask you a couple of questions. Is that okay, Marco?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just looking over the Q&A here, and there's two so far. So if there are any others, drop them in, folks. The first one I'm looking at is from Sarah, and she asks, can the shielded abusive content be viewed if needed? Example, making the case to ban a customer or checking accuracy. And maybe I'll take a stab at this, and Marco, if you have more context or I'm incorrect, let me know.
No.
But my understanding is that in terms of abusive content, you can unmask it, but with PII you can't. Is that correct, Marco? That's for smart conversations.
Yeah, smart conversations. So there is actually two directions for that one. And that's in use. So the inbound. So from the message that is the consumers are sending towards the customer service, they are filtered through the smart conversations directly.
Mm-hmm.
And then in Contact Pro we have the configurations and filtering for the opposite direction. So actually we have three categories in Contact Pro, which are red, orange, and yellow. So plus of course then there is this regex editor, so which enables us to configure rules to highlight for the agent that, hey, don't use these words, don't put any social security numbers in the chat, and then few of the other similar ones. So you can apply the rules also for the messages which the agent is sending back to the customer.
Yeah. The second question I've got here is from Liana. Is there any thought of using AI in handling phone support? In other words, having AI answer calls, gather all necessary information, and then forward the call to an agent if needed, and possibly also create a ticket with all the collected details. Marco, I think this is a good one for you.
Yeah, that's actually
you've got some thoughts on this one, right?
That's actually one of the use cases we have implemented in standard demo environment. Of course, not purely by using the Contact Pro capabilities, but with the help of our chat layer VoiceBot. Works also, of course, with the text similarly. But in the VoiceBot case, you can call in. You are greeted by the VoiceBot. You indicate that, hey, I have an issue. The bot asks that what's your issue about, and then you speak it. Bot collects that information and then creates a ticket or a case, depending, of course, on the destination system. For example, to the SAP Service Clouds, and then. When done, bot is triggering even one confirmation message towards the consumer who has called in, and then transfers the call to the customer service agent, who then sees the pre-created ticket. That actually accelerates quite a lot the handling process on the customer service agent side, because customer has done the big part of the job already before even getting agent on the call. And that's super good use case.
Yeah, and maybe I'll just say I apologize if that slide wasn't clear on that, because I put a chat example in the slide, but absolutely voice is a major component of where chat layer and also Sinch are going. We fully recognize that we're really in a renaissance right now in terms of voice AI capabilities, and especially speech-to-speech models are creating some pretty incredible interactions over voice. So absolutely, is there thought about using AI to handle phone support? Absolutely, it's front and center in Sinch right now for sure. A third question I've got here, because there's a lot of popularity around the language translation feature. No surprise, it's such obvious benefits to extend a support team, and really such a win. But the question here is from Osuna: is the language translation planned for email conversations?
It can be used. It's not planned, but nothing prevents on doing it also for the email. Usually, well, it's just the translation. No, we haven't implemented that one, but nothing would prevent, of course, us doing that one as well. Mm-hmm. Just text that gets translated in that sense. Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
Any other questions from the crowd? Or should I go looking through the chat? Has anybody else, any of the other presenters seen anything interesting in the chat that's worth?
There is actually quite good one. So first of all, in the chat, I have now advertised the standard demo capability. So if you have credentials to standard demo, all good. Just check the latest email you have got from us. There are 4 emails per year on that topic. But if you haven't got any credentials for that one, send an email to contact.pro@sinch.com, and then we are super happy to create you credentials for that one. Standard demo is our showroom for, we try to enable all the capabilities and bells and whistles. So we all benefit from seeing what all the different products from Sinch can do together. So you get the good ideas and good kind of like inspiration from standard demo.
And commercially also quite affordable. It's free of charge. Just wanted to comment.
That's a good point, Mika. So we don't charge anything for usage of standard demo. So and it's also in that sense safe that of course it's a shared demo system, but when we set up users for individual organizations, you see only each other's, so within your organization, the users, but the other organization users don't see the others and vice versa. So we have limited the visibility and user rights in that way for that one. But certainly you can access all these demo scenarios, what we are doing there. Then there is a question which is very relevant. So can you explain how sensitive customer data is handled in the AI summarization feature? Okay, sensitive data is of course one thing, and then the PII, so personal identifiable information, is another thing. So there is an PII, personal identifiable information, which also then covers to great extent the sensitive data filtering or cleansing in that functionality. So even the pure transcript itself, so in other words, the text output of the call content does not or should not contain the personal identifiable information. So that's of course a good thing to have and keep active. What comes to sensitive data, which is then more like towards your health data and your political opinions and other stuff, there is a general recommendation not to handle sensitive data with the Contact Pro or with basically any other system, unless you have strict policies in your organizations to do so. My advice here is to consult with your own legal to check how you want to handle different data. But the PII, personal identifiable information, which is persons' names, numbers, addresses, etc., which are not sensible but just personal, they get filtered out if configured that way. Super.
There's a couple. I mean, I know we need at least some time to wrap up in just a second. I can see one here that is, which LLMs are used for smart conversations and routing? My understanding is that they actually use an NLP model for latency reasons, especially for things like that. And it's not necessarily piping through an LLM because these are going through many messages. So the latency needs to be really, really low. And so we use an NLP model, in fact, in that case, which is plenty sharp to identify things like abusive content and PII and things like that, and also other things like sentiment. And then I see one other question here. In a case where a customer's call is handled by a voice bot on chat layer and the call gets offloaded to an agent on Contact Pro, does AI give the agent context on what transpired? My understanding is that the full conversation moves over. And do we also provide a summarization marku to the agent? Is that correct?
Currently, we provide the full transcript. So the agent, when starting or continuing the voice conversation with the customer, sees the transcript that the customer and the bot were having. So you are clearly seeing specifically what customer was giving in as questions or answers, and then what the bots reply on those ones. So it's a very fast way to get onto the level and continue the discussion with the customer.
Mika, Johnny, I'm just cognizant of we're getting to time here, but
yeah, I think we need to
Mika,
appreciate
Johnny,
the time.
any final remarks?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think we need to appreciate the time and get back with the questions that remained kind of unanswered. But again, thank you so much for joining. I have a couple of comments here. So regarding the standard demo, as Markus said, it's free of charge, and just send us an email, and we make sure that you get the credentials to start using it. We really would love to have your feedback on this webinar. I don't know, Ryan, if we have the tools to collect some feedback from the audience, where we can improve, what are the most important topics, etc., etc. You can of course send them also by email personally to us, but always good if you would accept kind of a very short survey but how we made it and what can we improve. And then, of course, the commercial side of the thing, if you are interested in these services, whom to contact. So you should have our customers partners should have a contact person at Sinch. If not, for Americas, Johnny Wilkenshit is the contact. Yeah, wave the hand again, Johnny. It was a little bit mild. Yeah, exactly. And for rest of the world, I'm more than happy to take them over and make sure that you get the right people talking to you. It depends a little bit on the product and the use case. So and again, our commitment is to continue keeping these webinars. It really shows to me, the number of registrations show to me, that there is definitely a need for this. And again, as Markus said, this is kind of, we are not standing still. We are developing, we are planning, we have very nice roadmap, and absolutely, every quarter we come out with something very, very nice for the customers and useful. So we definitely keep these going. So thank you once again on behalf of the whole crew, and I think we should stop here. Have a great Christmas time.
Yeah.